Welcome back. Welcome back. I know I was off for a couple weeks, had to take care of some stuff, but I am back. Better than ever. Got a host that's a friend of mine who's pretty much grew up with me. I've been knowing him since I was like in high school, but watching him since I was in high school. He been my big bro. He's literally the person that everybody said that he's my big brother because we both tall, light-skinned with freckles. my boy Keith Kloss is here. I'm your host for the show, Athlete's Journey, Travis Reed. Say what's up to the people, Keith.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Peace and blessings.
Yep. I used to work out with him all the time. You know, he used to dunk it so easy, make me mad. You know, had a great, illustrious career over, you know, in the NBA, overseas, all that. So we're gonna let him get into his journey, and let's just get right into it, Keith. How did your journey start of basketball?
Man, crate ball in the projects. You know, I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. I lived there till I was 5, then moved to LA. But you know, we all played crate ball outside. Myself, Marcus Camby, and a few other guys who were from the community. Everybody knows Marcus. You know, former defensive player of the year in the NBA, had a great career. You know, one of the all-time leading defenders. You know, out of the, you know, representing for the big men in the NBA. You know, that was my sandbox mate right there. You know, but yeah, everywhere I went growing up, man, I had a basketball in my hand. Drove my mother crazy because I'm always dribbling. You know, I'm always dribbling the basketball wherever I went. If I'm taking out the trash, I got my ball. If I'm going to get the mail, I got my ball. If we going to the grocery store, laundromat, I got my ball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, basketball, man, that's always been my love, my passion. You know, and whenever you saw me, you saw my ball with me. You know,
that's how it starts, man. That's how it starts. It's just the dedication, right?
You hear the saying, ball is life, and it really was, you know, for me.
No, I hear you. Were you interested in any other sports growing up besides
football? Yeah, football? Man, football. I'm a big time. I'm the world's tallest Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You know. Yeah, so I got to holler at them about getting some apparel, man, so I can rep them right. You know, get some stuff that'll fit me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Steelers, man, that's my favorite team. You know, when I was about 2-3 years old, one of my uncles was playing Pop Warner for the Steelers. He had also played Pop Warner for the Bengals and for some other team that just had a plain white helmet. And you know, they said that one day he had all 3 of his helmets sitting out on the table, and I just picked up the Steelers helmet, put it on, got down a little 3-point stance, and started ramming all of Grandma's furniture. You know, so that's where my love of the Steelers was born. You know what I'm saying?
That's a heck of a story, man. That's a heck of a story.
Moms wouldn't let me play football, though. You know, she said I was too skinny. They was going to hurt me. So I did like every other kid. You know, I went out to the street and played football in the street, played tackle football at the playground. You know, just had a blast with it. That's as close as I got. That's as close as I got to the NFL. Street football and playground football. That's it.
I got you. Check. I played like flag and then a little bit of Pop Warner. I got hit when I caught the ball as a receiver. And I was like, oh no, that ain't me no more. I'm gonna stick with this basketball thing. Basketball and baseball is my sport.
Man.
Now,
I had a blast out there though. You know, we had no pads, no nothing. We tearing up side view mirrors on cars, you know. Hey.
I got you. So did you grow up in the AAU circuit, growing up through ball, or did you just play, the street ball into high school?
No, I did. I got into AAU my sophomore year of high school, you know, playing with Slam and Jam. Well, my first AAU coach was out of Covina. His name is Jim Espinosa. He was a retired sheriff's deputy. And I played on the freshman team at Charter Oak my freshman year of high school with his son, James Espinosa. And you remember Jerron Roberts from Charter Oak that went to Wyoming? Yeah, we were all teammates, man. And they were my introduction to AAU. And after that, along with playing for them, I played with Slam and Jam, Izzy. I played Izzy Washington, you know what I'm saying? I did the whole, gambit with the pumps. I played for Reebok. I played for Adidas. I played for Nike. I had a blast out there, man. ARC. Just really.
Yeah. That's how I was. I was on ARC with Jason and Jaron Collins. We was on Liverpool.
Yeah. Rockfish with Aaron Maxey, Andre Miller. Yeah.
People don't forget that Rockfish had some dudes, man. Rockfish had a couple of NBA pros, man. The Rockfish had some players.
Yo, I was a 6'11" two-man playing for Rockfish. With Dre Miller running the point. So imagine me coming off the screen, knocking down 25-footers.
I got
handling the rocks, breaking presses like it was nothing.
I got you. So you went to Charter Oak all 4 years of high school, right?
What's that?
You went to Charter Oak all 4 years?
Nah, just my freshman year. After that, I went to Sierra Vista in Baldwin Park and finished up there. I played only 1 year varsity because sophomore year, to be honest, I wasn't quite ready for varsity yet. And but and that's when I first really started dunking in AAU. And really getting that confidence going up against all these dudes who are ranked. The Mike Carsons and Keith Van Horns and everybody, Alex Sanchez, Jack Vaughn, to name a few, Cam Murray, Jelani Gardner, those guys. So, my junior year in high school, the coach he wouldn't even let me try out for the team. I'm 6'11". He told me he had enough talent on the team and that he didn't need me. And so what ended up happening is they went 0-24 that year, lost every game. Yeah, me and the dudes that didn't play, but some of the players didn't go back. They didn't like them, so they didn't go back. And we went to every game and heckled them. We heckled the coach. You know what I'm saying? Home games, away games. We sit at away games. We sitting with the home team. With the home crowd clowning and heckling. We used to draw signs and take them up in there. Had pictures of them holding the clipboard in one hand and doing a defensive slide. With the whistle hanging out of his mouth, just getting our clown on. So, as you can probably guess, after going 0-24, he didn't come back.
Yeah.
So,
I imagine.
The athletic director took over my senior year, and I got my 1 year in. But I'm grateful for AAU because that's what kept me active. You know what I'm saying, and really kept my face and my name out there.
Okay. What would you say your most memorable moment in high school was? Out of those
most memorable moment in high school. Oh man. I forgot who we were playing against, maybe Chino High School in a tournament. I had 34 points, 32 rebounds, and 28 blocks.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a
everything up out of there. That's a hell of a triple-double, right?
Right. That might be the best triple-double I've ever heard of.
Right. Trying to compare, I'm trying to compete with Wilt.
No, right? That's a Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar high school triple-double.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So you play your 1 year in your senior year. Do you get it recruited from any colleges, anything like that?
I got recruited by UCLA, USC, Cal Berkeley, Pepperdine, Loyola Marymount, Michigan State, UConn, Florida, Ohio State, Alabama. I got recruited by Long Beach State, of course. Utah. Coach Majerus was high on my list. I really liked his attitude and his approach towards things. Coach Seth Greenberg down at Long Beach State.
Remember, yeah.
What happened was I was so I was so turned off by the coach my junior year that I basically said, screw it. As far as school is concerned, I only took the test. I ain't turned in any homework assignments or anything, and because of that, my GPA had dropped. So they weren't thinking that I was going to graduate from high school. And a lot of people started to fall off, thinking that I wouldn't be able to make up the credits. So my senior year, I basically went to school, man, from 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, because I go to the adult school immediately after school and make up all those credits. And I ended up, graduating. And Central Connecticut, they stood tall with me, man, from beginning to end. They really believed in me and kept encouraging me. My coach there, Mark Adams, and his coaching staff, Ted Woodward and Mark Borgeson, they really stayed, in my corner and kept encouraging me to just push through it, that I could do it. And I knocked it out, man. And a few teams that was still around at the end, they wanted me to red shirt. And I wasn't feeling it, because of my high metabolism. Everybody thought, oh, we just feed him, and he's going to gain the weight, But my dad, 6'7", 180 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So we not maintaining no kind of weight here. You feel me? And so Central, they told me, we're not going to red shirt you. We're going to throw you in the fire right away because we believe you can compete, And so I signed with Central Connecticut State University, man. It was the best decision ever made. It's nothing like having a coaching staff that believes in you. You know what I'm saying? And having the right people around you to constantly give you the encouragement that's needed, especially when you far from home. Yeah, I'm born in Connecticut, but I'm raised in Los Angeles, And even though I went back during the summers and whatnot to visit family, now I have to reacclimate myself to that cold ass winter weather, and the college lifestyle. So, I'm very grateful to Coach Adams and his coaching staff, Doug Leichner, Mark Borgeson, Ted Woodward. I'm grateful as hell for those guys, because they really helped me out a lot.
No, I hear you on that, man. I remember that, like with UCLA, I was like, once they started recruiting me, I was like, I was in between UCLA, Arizona, Long Beach State. And I was like, I like you. I love you, Arizona. I love you, Ludolson, but UCLA, my dream school. I love you, Wayne Morgan, but UCLA, my dream school. I can't pass up my dream school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I would have went to Utah or Long Beach State, but just the way that the Central Connecticut State staff came at me correct, man. It only made sense.
No, I get it, bro. I mean, like I said, they stay solid with you the whole time, and you want to get that trust with college,
Yeah, and I still got a great relationship with those guys today.
Okay,
with my coaches. You know what I'm saying? I love them to death, man. And the thing about Coach Adams from Central Connecticut was he cared more about you as a man, as an individual, than he did about your basketball prowess. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to make sure he was dealing with men and teaching men how to be men. So he was a great example for us in that area, and so were his assistant coaches. And he kept us accountable for our behavior. I got suspended from the team, man, after the first week of school, because everybody know I had a drinking problem and everything, and I got drunk the first big house party of the year, and caught a charge for going into the wrong house, and he suspended me indefinitely. So he had me, keeping me accountable, let me know, hey, this is unacceptable. We love you. We want you here, but this ain't going to be tolerated. This is not what we're going to accept from our student athletes, And this man had me up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, running through the city. And this is when the first big snowfall started. So, here I am, 7'2", 180 pounds soaking wet, running 5 o'clock in the morning in the snow. You know what I'm saying? And I had to chase Coach Leisner around. I had to follow him around, through the city. And then, all right, go ahead and get ready for class. And that was every day. And that was every day until he was satisfied that I had learned my lesson.
Right.
But I've learned to appreciate that, man. And so even today, I'm really big on accountability, and I teach it to all the youth that I interact with.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. So what do you remember about your first year at college? What was the biggest difference between college and high school?
Oh, man, having to go all the way across campus to these different classes, because I stayed on one side of campus and, all the classes were way on the other side of campus. So having to figure out, the best time to leave and, so I can get there in time, will I have time to eat breakfast? You know what I'm saying? Or will I have time to eat lunch before the next class? It was just things like that. The atmosphere was great. My teammates were great. I love those dudes to death. We're still in touch to this day as well. The men's team, the women's team, and the football team.
Okay.
Yeah, all three of those teams, we hung real tough back then. You know what I'm saying? And we were inseparable. And these are relationships that last a lifetime, man. We celebrate every event that someone has. We celebrate each other's kids, what they're doing, their accomplishments. One of the women's players, Yolanda Bronson, she won a state championship as a high school basketball coach, and we just celebrated that with her. When the other players, their kids are graduating from high school, we celebrate that with them. When they've got all these different accolades, we celebrate them, man, because we're all one big family.
That's cool, man. Like I said, it's always love when you have really close knit, team. And for myself, most of my friends from UCLA and Long Beach, still keep a contact with, not all, but most of them, more UCLA than the Long Beach friends, but I still talk to both of them anyway. But yeah, I know having that brotherhood is there because you go through something, I guess my next question would be what was your biggest triumph and your biggest failure in college?
My biggest triumph in college was leading the nation in shot blocking my freshman and sophomore year. The 2 years that I was there.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You averaging 5 blocks a game or something like that?
Yeah, 5.21 my freshman year, something like that. 5 something. And then my sophomore year is 6.4. Yeah, so, I still got the career average. Yeah, I still got the career.
After about 1 or 2, I'm like, okay, maybe I should not shoot around him or something.
Yeah. So, those records still stand today. I still got the career average record.
Oh, ain't nobody gonna break no 6 blocks a game, man. Come on.
Hey, when we played against the big schools, Ohio States, Alabama's, UConn's, Penn State's, I'm averaging 8-9 blocks a game against them.
Okay.
So even to show, the big schools that, I can still get out here and do my thing against y'all. Y'all got all these heavyweights, these 5-stars, these 4-star recruits, and here we are 3 and 2 and 1, and sometimes a couple of our players might not even have a star next to their name, but we still went out there and had a ball doing it.
And what was your greatest failure of college?
Greatest failure was not finishing. My greatest failure was not completing my college career or getting my degree. I said that was my biggest failure.
I got you.
So one day I got to address that.
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question. What was the biggest lesson you learned in college?
Biggest lesson I learned, man, was to see it through. That was the biggest lesson right there.
Well, I hear you. You know, so you did all 4 years in college, correct?
Nah, 2 years.
Just 2 years? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just 2
And
years,
it
man.
bounced.
And
Because I
well,
remember when you was up at UCLA every day working out, getting ready for
yeah,
the draft.
right.
Talk about the NBA process. We'll actually talk about what made you go pro early and then go into the NBA process.
Well, honestly, man, I was looking at, staying in school for 3 years, 4 at the most, depending on my progress. And the school screwed over Coach Adams. And I'm a loyal dude, man. And like I said, the way that this guy was, what he meant for us as student athletes, he was a great guy, man, and he didn't deserve to get done dirty like that. And so what ended up happening is Howie Dickerman, who was the assistant coach at UConn at the time, they hired him because he was an alumnus of the school, and he was also best friends. And he was also best friends with the athletic director. So, they bring in Howie, and Howie calls a meeting with myself and my family. And so my mom flies out from LA. My grandparents are there. They're in Hartford. So they make the drive up. My dad, a couple aunts and uncles. And he told them that, he was going to center everything around me and go through me with everything with the team. And he said if Keith stays, I guarantee in 2 years he'll be ready for the NBA. He'll be a draft pick, a first round draft pick. And he promised us that he was going to keep one or two of the assistant coaches just to make the transition easier for us, And so I'm like, okay, if he's gonna promise my family this, then all right, let's see. Man, the very next day he fired everybody. And
he fired everybody the next day?
Yeah, the next day, bro, he fired everybody. So, how can I trust you if you lie to me one day and then, do something completely different, the next day? So I started, making plans to get up out of there. Coach Greenberg had left to South Florida by this time. So I'm thinking about South Florida because I love Coach Greenberg. And, Dre is still doing his thing at Utah, even though they got Mike Doliak at the time. I'm like, I can slide to the 4. Mike can be the 5, since I'm such a versatile player. And what happened was, man, they messed up my transcripts so that I couldn't leave, trying to bogart me in the stand.
Wow.
Yeah. So that ticked me off even more, man. And I said, well, bump it. I guess I'm just going to have to leave school and go back home. Right. So that's what I did for 6 months. And then, somebody got in touch with me and I played in the Summer Pro League, for one of the free agent squads. And, I went undrafted. Then the next year, which would have been my junior year, I entered the draft again. I'm going, Philly's calling, Seattle's calling, talking about they're going to get me. And so I make the rounds, going to all the pre-draft camps and everything. I'm in Chicago as well. And getting after it with everybody. I go undrafted, But the trip part was on draft night. Philly and Seattle, the same 2 teams, calling me, telling me that they're going to pick me. Right. And so I'm looking at all these dudes get picked. And, I go past, everybody just passed me up. And so I said, man, if I ever get a chance to get to the league, they're going to have to pay for it, And the LA Lakers, fortunately, gave me a chance. So they added me to their Summer Pro League team with Kobe, Derek Fisher, Ace Custis out of Virginia Tech, James Forrest out of Georgia Tech, Jimmy King out of Michigan, Shea Seals out of Tulsa. Man, we had a squad. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that. I was there in Long Beach. I was in high school. Like everybody, it was packed because it was like Kobe's first game, quote unquote. Derek Fisher, Kobe, all that. The high school. I remember that team.
Yeah, man. And so, they gave me a chance to do my thing and show what I had. And I went out there putting in work, inside, out, off the dribble, dunking on fools, jaying them, crossing them. They really allowed me to showcase my talent. And Elgin Baylor was sitting with Coach Fitch, Bill Fitch, after one of the games. Me and Kobe, we about to walk up to our family, and Coach Fitch stops me and says, "Son, if you're not signed with anybody at the end of this summer, you're going to be in the LA Clippers uniform." And so I'm like, "All right, cool. I appreciate it, Coach." I grew up a Lakers fan. I was a diehard Laker fan. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was my favorite player. I'm tall, light-skinned like him. You know what I'm saying? I had a hook shot as well. I wore number 33 because of him.
Right.
So me and Kobe turn around and walk away, and I'm like, yeah, right, fool. It's the Lakers. I'm not even understanding and knowing that the Lakers roster's already set.
Right.
So if they were to invite me to camp, it would just be as a crash dummy, nothing more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So after the Summer Pro League was over, I went and joined up with the Portland Trail Blazers in the Rocky Mountain Review in Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz Summer Pro League. Now I'm with Jermaine O'Neal, Kelvin Cato, Corey Beck, D'Antonio Wingfield, and a couple other cats. And I'm rotating between the 3, 4, and 5, depending on, if we go big with myself, Cato, and Jermaine,
They would go that? That would be the front line? Wow.
Yeah. 7'3", 6'10", and 6'11". So, no, both of them 6'11". So 7'3" and 2 6'11s, and I've been playing the 3.
I remember Cato. I remember both him and Jermaine.
Yeah. And so I'm the most versatile one out of the 3, so they slide me out on the perimeter, and then I go down and, and I post up sometimes too, take advantage of the mismatches. And, we was calling ourselves triple threat. We getting our clown on, man. One of us is backing down our man, somebody else will backdoor, and we just toss it over our shoulder for a lob, no look lob to each other, just clowning and having a good time.
Right.
It was over. When that was over, man, I had 3 or 4 contract offers from Denver, Seattle, the Clippers, and I can't remember who the other one was from, but I know Denver wanted to give me a 2-year deal for like $2.5 million, and then Seattle wanted to give me the minimum, which was $230 at the time, $232, and then the Clippers, they came at me, 5 years, $8.4 million. And, I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, whoa. So I'm pinching myself, to see if it's real.
Right.
Because
they gave you that off the rip, huh? The 5-year deal off the rip. Okay.
Yeah, as an undrafted rookie free agent. And that was unheard of. That was unheard of at the time.
It seemed like it, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the same money that the number 4 pick got that year.
Oh,
wow. What I'm saying? Yeah, so I was just as, I may as well have been a number 4 pick at the draft to get that money. You feel me?
I got you.
So I signed with the Clippers. I get to stay home at the crib. Mom get to come to the games, brothers and sisters, family. I ain't got to move or nothing except to my own spot. So, hey, but man, let me tell you, a lot of players don't understand the politics, the political side of professional basketball.
No idea, man. No idea.
Yeah. And they don't know that some of these coaches, man, they really get at you real foul and reckless. And I had to experience a little bit of that. I didn't handle it the best way because I didn't have the veteran leadership to guide me through it. What I got in return when I asked one of my vets, what I'm supposed to do about the way they're getting at me. Well, I don't know what to tell you, young fella. You're going to have to figure it out, young fella, because everybody's looking at each other as competition for that next big contract. That's right around, you got to remember, man, those are the days when, the first mega deals are $40 and $50 million. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was really more concerned with getting their bag rather than giving a young cat some guidance, so much guidance. Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, I'm left to my own devices, which is either fight or flight, and I'm a fighter. So I'm getting back at the staff, and they punishing me by putting me on injured reserve, or I got a whole bunch of DNPs, So I just sat down at the end of the bench and just chilled and, watched us get our butts kicked out there. And with pro basketball, they got scouting reports of every team and every player and their likes and dislikes. So I study those scouting reports just in case they're going to throw me out there, because I want to be able to, play my opponent to his weaknesses to give us the best chance to win. We were students of the game like that. And I would just sit there and I would read players from the bench and, pretty much know what I would do to, try to stop this cat. So when I did get my opportunity, they're not getting really anything against me. You know what I'm saying? And offensively, I was told that they don't want me to score. I can shoot. They don't want me to shoot jump shots. I'm great on pick and pop because I'm taking those big, slow dudes away from the basket. I can go right past them and dunk on whoever they four-man is or whoever rotates,
It's true.
And fortunately, they had enough sense to play me at the three a few times. So I'm guarding Mike my rookie year, in Chicago, and he got to guard me. And you see Ron Harper guarding me, and I'm taking him to the block. Oh, okay. What's up now?
Yeah.
Dunking on them, getting my little hook shot off on them, my little turnaround and whatnot. And there was one game against the Cleveland Cavaliers with Big Zadrunas Ilgauskas. And the coach comes and gets me. And as he's walking me to the scorer's table to check in, he says, "Now look, all I want you to do is rebound, block shots, play defense. I don't want you to do anything else." And so I look back at the bench, at the guys, and they just give me this look. So you know what that means? Get out there and do your thing, So I go out there, man. I go 6 for 6 real quick. I'm in my bag, inside out, crossing people, dunking on people. The next dead ball, the coach is at half court coming to get me, cuss me out all the way to the end of the bench because that's not what he wanted me to do. You know what I'm saying? I was expected to be like DeAndre Jordan.
Like, good job, right? Yeah.
Right. But I was supposed to be like DeAndre Jordan. Only play your role, catch an occasional lob, get it off the putbacks, but play solid defense. That's what they wanted. And I couldn't understand why they were handcuffing me. I'm thinking, wouldn't you want your players to show what they can do? Especially because they had given me that kind of money. It's like, okay, let me show why you gave me this money. I wasn't like the other guys who were happy with just collecting a check. There are a lot of guys that just sit there, man, I just sit there and collect a check. I'm too much of a competitor, and I love this game, and ball really was life for me. And so when I wasn't able to play during the games, I'm playing at Venice Beach. I'm going everywhere just so I can play, and even during the season. You feel me? I risk injury just so I could play because I loved it that much, and I had to stay ready for when they called my number.
I got you.
But a lot of guys, man, like the Clippers were just a different organization back then,
No,
and
obviously.
it wasn't on us players. Us players, we wanted to win. We hated losing. We hated the positions that the organization put us in. That really had us looking bad. I mean, to go on a Tonight Show with Jay Leno after starting the season 0-17 and, 0-18 would have tied the record for most losses to open up a season. So we win our first game and they invite us on the show, clowning. I got an electric scoreboard that says 0-17 and then it drops the number 1. It turns to the number 1 and they dropping balloons and confetti on us and playing music. I'm sitting there pissed off on national TV again, like, man, this dude really gonna have us like the, like this clowning us.
Right.
Some of the guys didn't care because they on Jay Leno.
Yeah.
I cared too much. I love the game too much. So, excuse me, you see me, swiping at these mosquitoes.
No, I get it. I know Texas is like that, bro. So it's all good.
They tearing my butt up, man. But
I got
but on the real, man, I was just too much of a competitor. And if I did have the right kind of leadership around me, things would have been different, because then I'd have somebody to pull me to the side and walk me through it and guide me through it, And so I've taken that role as an elder statesman of the game, wherever I went after that, to guide the younger players, to keep them from falling into those traps, because that's real important. Guys I fell into a trap, and and I kept digging the hole deeper and deeper for myself, and I couldn't just stand by and watch other players do that, and so I'm the one now that walks guys through these situations and helps them understand what they're going through and how to handle it the right way as a professional, from my own experiences. You feel me? And I absolutely love it. And as a direct result of that, I have a great relationship with many, many young players out there, who are playing all around the world. They hit me up, ask, let me know what's going on, and we break it down, chop it up, and, they still playing. They still doing the damn thing, whether they're in the league or overseas.
I got you. So how many years you play in the league?
I played 3 years in the league. I got suspended my 4th year. They told me not to come to training camp on media day. They told me not to come to training camp. And, it was a trip because I had made up my mind that I wasn't going to allow none of the BS to get to me. That I was just going to stay focused on what I had to do because we wanted to be, we had to prove to everybody else that we were better than what we had been in the past. We got a new coach, Alvin Gentry. He got a great attitude, and then don't come to training camp. We'll call you. We'll be in touch with you. And the funny thing is I'm sitting there with Jeff McInnes, Lamar, and, the young guys, Q Rich, Darius, Elton. And we're hyped, man, about the season.
Yeah.
And they send a reporter over to me who says, Keith, it's been said that you're a real head case. What do you have to say to that? And he puts the microphone in my face, And Jeff and those guys are like, wow, you really gonna come over here and ask this man that? Right. I said, no, it's okay. It's all right, bro. I said, yeah, well, there were some situations that I didn't quite understand how to handle in the past, but, I'm ready to accept all challenges and, really get out here and do what I have to do for the organization. And I'm just looking forward to having a great season, And right after that is when they told me not to come to training camp. So my agent, Sean Holly, he gets me a trainer so that now I'm working out 6 days a week, twice a day, and I'm doing strength and conditioning. I'm doing basketball stuff. I'm not gaining any weight. At the time, I weighed 220 pounds. I'm still the same weight, 21 years later. I'm still the same weight, and then I would take a physical. I do the same thing that the league was going to have me do. I passed that. Then I go and take the physical for the team and doing the same stuff I did the day before, and they would fail me. And, I was trying to understand how I could fail the same test exactly a day after passing it, and I'm getting the same numbers as the guards because, again, I played year round. So I was I was always in shape, but they suspended me for the season and told the media that I was out of shape. And so I go get another physical from another doctor. They would pass me. Then I go the next day to the Clippers, who would fail me. They did this 4 times to me. And the 4th time I asked the doctor, I said, why are you guys doing this to me? What's going on? I just did this stuff yesterday. I said, I always take a physical doing the same stuff the day before I come in to see you. I said, they passed me, but you failed me. Excuse me. I said, I got the same numbers every time, but you're failing me. Why is that? And he said, well, Keith, that's between your agent and Andy Roser, you know, who was in the front office. So that's between them. You got to talk to them about it. So I knew that they had it in for me and that they were trying to blackball me. You know, I had a chance to sign a big time contract, you know, with another organization. I was going to get a $60 million contract. So, you know, I had asked them to release me, you know, just release me so I can go do what I got to do because you guys aren't allowing me to grow. You just hold me back. And they called me one night when I was at dinner with my fiance, and they told me, they said, Keith, we heard about that contract you got, you know, that you got offered. That's a nice contract. Well, here's the thing. We're not going to let you get it. You know, they said, you haven't earned it, and we don't think you deserve it.
Wow.
So the next day, that's when it went to the press that they suspended me for the season and, you know, for being out of shape. And, you know, all my peers, man, they knew it was some BS. But what can we do when you dealing with a juggernaut of an organization, you know, and from a juggernaut of a league, you know, we weren't as empowered back then as the players are today.
No, of course.
They can go ahead and pretty much say whatever they want about you, and it's gospel to the rest of the league, you know. And man, they went so far as to say that I was smoking crack and that's why I wasn't gaining any weight. I ain't had no weight on me since I was like 6 months old, you know, with the little chubby cheeks. I got pictures to prove it. Everything after that, I was stretched out and thin. You know, I was nothing but shoulders, elbows, and kneecaps.
No,
you know
I
what
got
I'm saying?
I got you.
And so I that really put me in a really deep, dark depression, man. And I basically just had a liquid diet. All I did from sun up to sundown was drink, you know. And my attitude just went out the door, man. And it was like I just didn't care anymore. Like I had given up. You know, something that I had worked so hard towards, you know, had been snatched away from me in such a cruel way. And I really struggled with handling it, you know. But I'm grateful for those experiences because, again, that set me in the position that I'm in today, being able to mentor so many different players around the world so that when they deal with similar circumstances, they know a better way to handle it, you know.
I got you. So you played in the NBA for the 3 years. Obviously, went through some troubles towards the end. Did you go overseas after?
Yeah, I went to Italy, man, and I went to Naples, Italy, and you know, I got my own way over there because, you know, I used to love smoking weed, and they tested me. They tested me one day, and I failed the test because of, I tested positive for marijuana. So they thanked me for my time, gave me a plane ticket home. You know.
Oh yeah, overseas they don't play like that, man. They
Yeah.
They don't play.
Yeah, and so that one was on me. And I ended up playing, in the CBA, the USBL. I played for Daryl Dawkins in the USBL, the United States Basketball League. At the time, that was the top semi-pro league. Underneath, after the NBA, you had the USBL. Because the CBA had fallen off a bit.
Right.
And, I was fortunate enough to play with guys like Kareem Reed, Tim Wynn, Ace Custis again, Tunji Awajobi out of Boston University, Terrence Roberson, Corey Hightower, just to name a few of those guys. And we won a USBL championship. Odin Polynice played with us 1 year. We lost in the championship game to Kareem. Was it Kareem or was it Cliff Levingston's squad? But we had talent in that league, dudes who had league talent, but just didn't get the opportunity. And after that I played in the CBA. Then I went over to China and played in the CBA.
Because I would say like Keith, man, like you didn't ever really hang it up, because I'll be like, oh, Keith's up over here still playing. He's hooping here, he's hooping there. You never really hung it up and said, I'm retired from ball. Seemed like he was always still playing.
Yeah, man, because ball was life.
Yeah.
That's what my passion was.
He's still hooping in China, man, or Philippines or wherever. I was like, man, he's still hooping.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, man, I was down in Mexico playing in a tournament.
Yeah,
I'm 45 years old.
So I can't even ask you when you hang it up because you really didn't never hang it up.
Right. And, a young man that I had mentored, some time back when he was a rookie, Jermaine Barnes, he ended up getting hurt. And, he had a career-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
And, this dude started his own pro league in the South called the UBA, the Universal Basketball Association. And, what he started doing was creating avenues for players to get overseas, through his league. And he created Eurobasket profiles for these dudes with all their stats, all the film from games, all the things that these players need, And he started creating these FIBA certified basketball tournaments internationally, in Spain and France and the Dominican Republic. I played for Team USA in the William Jones Cup in Taiwan several years ago, and I've been fortunate enough to win 4 gold medals. I was supposed to go back down to the Dominican Republic next month to play with these guys and try to win my 5th gold medal. But passport came up missing, and so I got to get a new passport. That prevented me from going to get my 5th gold medal at 45 years old, But instead, man, I'm blessed with another opportunity to play for the Utah Valor and the TBT, that's coming up next month. So
I got you.
I'm gonna team up with my former AAU teammate Aaron Maxey one more time to do that. Got some pretty good guys.
I saw that.
Yeah. Marquise Marshall, who's the son of NBA legend Danielle Marshall, Chris Jones, who's a sniper, and a host of other, good talent. So I'm just really looking forward to that, getting out there and, trying to win that $1 million pot.
I hate you, bro. I hate you. All right. Well, like I said, your career is not necessarily finished. It's still ongoing.
Yeah, I tried to retire. Bro, and just focus on, my youth basketball program. But they still calling for me to get out there because of the fact that I stay ready.
No, I got you. All right. Well, I got 2 more questions and then we'll call it. All right. First question is obviously when you were in that low point of your life, with the liquid stuff. How did you get out of it? How did you kind of transition yourself to get out of that bad space?
Man, honestly, Coach John Lucas called me one day, and he's as real as they get. And he said some words that I'm not going to repeat on the platform. But he basically checked me, and he came at me hard, man. Came at me real, and he said, "Boss, I'm tired of seeing you waste away in these lower levels. We're gonna get you back where you're supposed to be." He said, "So I'm gonna bring you down here to Houston, and we're gonna get you right, and we're gonna get you back in the league." And so I get down to Houston. I hadn't drank in 6 months by this time, but I was still smoking weed, and I'm training twice a day, 6 days a week with Coach Lucas and a few other cats who are still trying to get back in the league or overseas. Steve Francis, Sam Mack, Damon Stoudemire, the name of Nudie Eby, to name a few of those guys. And we just getting after it every day, twice a day. I ended up getting sick during lunch, and I got temporary blindness, hot and cold sweats, projectile vomiting, hyperventilation. And he's thinking that I had been, sneaking in some drinks.
Right.
I hadn't drank at all, and and I hadn't even smoked since the day before I left to go out there. So I was straight, you know what I'm saying, and really just focused. And he took me to a sober living, man, and I couldn't even fill out the registration paper because I was in such a bad way. And they put me in a first phase house, and an hour later, man, I'm in the back of an ambulance being rushed to the hospital. You know, I don't even really remember the ambulance. I remember seeing a pair of, it was so bad, bro, that I couldn't breathe, and I'm coming out of my clothes, and I'm following the breeze from the open door, you know, because I'm gasping for air, and I got to get outside to get more air. And, you know, my vision's all messed up from the temporary blindness, and I'm crawling on the floor, coming out of everything, and I see a pair of black ashy feet and some sandals, you know, and some Air Moses. And I hear a voice say, somebody call 911.
Right.
And I said, I knew God was black, and I guess I fell out after that. But I came to in the hospital on life support 2 days later, you know, and so that tripped me out. You know, I'm plugged up to all these machines, got these tubes in and out of me. So I start yanking everything up out, and scratched up my larynx in the process. And so the machines are going off because they thinking that I died. So it's just showing a flat line on the machine, you know, and so they rush in with the crash cart, and I'm sitting up, you know, in the bed, which tripped them out. They said, "What are you doing?" And I asked them, you know, "How did I get here? What's going on? What happened?" The doctor said, "We almost lost you in an emergency room. You've been here 2 days ago, so we had to put you on life support to keep you alive." And that was the reality check for me right there, man. That's when I finally had to admit to my innermost self that, you know, I had a serious problem, you know, because what sent me there was pancreatitis, acute pancreatitis. Okay. And so as a direct result of my drinking. So when he told me, you know, what everything was, you know, about, that's when I made that decision. Yeah, I can't ever touch that stuff again, and I really just got to get myself, you know, I got to get myself together. You know, I got a 7-year-old son, and I got to be there to raise my son. You know, I got nieces and nephews that I gotta, you know, give guidance to, and who better than me than their uncle? So I got to get it together. And you know, I got out of the hospital after a week. I'm on a restricted diet. You know, greasy foods triggered the pancreatitis. Because it happened to me several times before I had quit drinking, and I thought it was alcohol poisoning or something, but it was actually the greasy foods that were doing me in. So along with the, you know, from the consumption. So man, I'm going to 12-step meetings every day, several times a day, getting my mind, you know, my body, mind, and spirit right. And I haven't looked back, you know. So now I had the fortune of, you know, being drafted by the Tulsa 66ers and Coach Joey Meyer of the D League, you know, which is now the G League. And you know, he came in and saw me during the workout after I had gotten myself together, and he was impressed enough to give me a shot, you know. And unfortunately, the NBA, they weren't so forgiving. So even though when I got my opportunities in the D League, you know, where I got substantial minutes, I made the most of it, where I'm scoring double digits. You know, I'm averaging close to double digit rebounds, and I'm one of the leading shot blockers in the league. You know, they didn't want to give me an opportunity. So, you know, and another thing that was kind of frustrating about it is I wasn't one of the guys that was sent down by the league. So I had to sit behind, you know, Nick Fazekas. Even though I knew I was better than him, I got to sit behind him because the league sent him there to get that work. So he had to get those minutes, you know, and more politics of the game that I had to adjust to, you know. And fortunately for me, Aaron Swinson was one of our assistant coaches. He's a former player, you know, played at Auburn and played a lot of years overseas. And so finally, for the first time, I got that guidance that I needed from a veteran player who's now a coach to walk me through and show me how to handle the adversity that I was dealing with. And so I just stayed and made the best out of it, and and took advantage of the opportunities that they gave me. The league never came knocking again, and I'm okay with that. Um, there's some things that you got to accept in life, and that was one of them for me. But I just go back to playing in the CBA, the ABA, and over in China.
Nah, like I said, man, you probably had the longest career I've ever known for anybody. Everybody else is retired. You be still making money here and there, bro. It's hilarious. I feel like, man, Keith ain't never gonna retire, bro. We 50 out there still crossing people over and dunking.
Hey, God willing, if I'm still able to, then that's what it is, But look at JR Henderson.
He just retired.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so,
that's a dude that the NBA really messed up on. They got it wrong with JR because he was.
I tell anybody this, dude. Like, people don't know. He was the hardest dude I ever played against in college.
6'8", 6'9", could play every position, can guard every position. He could dribble. He could shoot. I just tweeted the other day just a random memory about how he dunked on me at double pump camp. It's funny because I had spiked the ball when he went up, but I had spiked it right back into his hands, and he just brought it down on me. I'm like, like, man, I said I still ain't forgiving him for that.
No, I got you.
He was the first dude to ever dunk on me, in high school. The second dude was Tony Gonzalez.
Okay. Well, there you go. At least you got one NBA dude, one NFL dude. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, but JR is one of those dudes that should have been in the league, man. That should have had a 15,
man,
15
he'd
plus
be a perfect dude right now. He's a perfect player for the NBA right now.
Oh,
he's
man.
Handle, shoot, pass. He's like Ben Simmons with a jumper.
Right. And
and so, well, let me let you plug everything. Like what you got going on? What you got going out there?
Right now, I'm in the process of building my youth basketball program, the Cloth Stars Elite, located in Mansfield, Texas, and I'm really just trying to give these kids the opportunities that most people wouldn't give them, and teach them the right way to play the game of basketball through the fundamentals. Everybody thinks that it's all about athleticism, and that's because people are relying more on athleticism today than the regular fundamentals. And I had to get back to that. When I would come home from China, because I was coaching youth basketball in China, head coach of Brothers Hoops in Shanghai. And when I would come home on business, I would go check out the AAU scene, and there weren't really many teachers of the game out there. It's like they just got the best players together, or the most athletic players together, and threw them out there on the court, and just let them go at it. Nobody was, there weren't any teachers. So I said, okay, let me come home, man, and teach these kids how to really play, so that they have a better chance of having a nice, long, happy, healthy career playing this game, And so once I get things going, I say after the first year or two of having my program really running right, I'll be taking them overseas to play in basketball tournaments against programs, internationally, and having those same programs come out here to play against us. Because I'm looking more off the court, with this for these kids, by introducing them to the game on an international level, and helping them form relationships that are going to last a lifetime with a kid that barely speak English, or you can't even understand their language. But the way that social media is set up, at FaceTime and all these different things, kids are like-minded in the things that they want to do. And so by the time they're done with me and done with college, if they go, if they choose to play college ball, if they don't make it to the pros, that's cool. They could be a professional in another area of life. whether it's being a dentist, whether it's being a surgeon, whether it's being a businessman or a businesswoman, you know, and bringing them up in my organization and my program and having them play internationally. You know, we're building international business opportunities for these kids. You know, we didn't have that growing up. We didn't go overseas until we were grown, or unless we came from money.
I'm 11, 10, 11, 12, whatever the age is, I'm going overseas. That's a journey of a lifetime, man.
Yeah. So, you know, I've got programs from Asia to Africa and Europe who are contacting me even now that, you know, they're like, hey, get your stuff right. And, you know, we'll set something up with the travel agents and we'll get you guys out here. We'll bring your program out here so that the kids compete. And then we'll come to the States where you're at and, you know, do the same thing. And I'll be able to introduce, you know, that to the local programs as well, just to give all the kids some exposure to that. You know what I'm saying?
Thing, man. That's going to be crazy. I give you much respect.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, you should. It's tight. It's real tight. I need to put my son on your team.
Bring him on out here. You know I got him.
Right. Well, once again, thank you, Keith, man, for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it, man. Your knowledge for the game and just everything that's going on. I appreciate you so much for coming on. Everybody, you know, all my fans who are watching the show, everybody appreciate it because I was like, Keith got a long story because he got NBA overseas. He's still kind of playing low key. So,
yeah.
Like I said, just want to say thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Much love always. You know, we definitely be talking to you always, man.
Thank you. It was an honor and a privilege, man. I greatly appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no problem, man. Well, like I said, we'll see y'all next week on The Athlete's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Street. I'm out. Special guest shout out to my boy Keith Kloss. One love.
All right, peace.